Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial, and today is a very, very interesting episode. Is Dr. Mohan Bhagwat regretting that he supported Mr. Narendra Modi to be the Prime Minister of India? This is a very serious question, and that's what I intend to ask tonight. Let's get right into the show and find out. We have been constantly telling our viewers that Bharatiya Janata Party has changed. The Bharatiya Janata Party that we knew since 80s, the Bharatiya Janata Party that was instituted by Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee and L.K. Advani, that Bharatiya Janata Party no longer exists. Bharatiya Janata Party has changed. And after 2014 and gradually after 2014 and today in 2024, the Bharatiya Janata Party or the so-called Bharatiya Janata Party that we see is a very different party. This party is Narendra Modi's party. The brand character of Bharatiya Janata Party has been eclipsed. Over, finito. The brand character today is that of Narendra Damodar Das Modi. And somewhere in that bright, big brand character of Narendra Damodar Das Modi, somewhere in that huge light, there is Bharatiya Janata Party somewhere. Hidden, eclipsed. It's there somewhere. That is the status of Bharatiya Janata Party. People like Gadkari, people like Murli Manohar Joshi, people like whoever senior, Rajnath Singh, all these people, their Bharatiya Janata Party is gone. They are working for a new political party. They are working for a new political party, which is the Narendra Modi Bharatiya Janata Party. ठीक है. Point number 1. Point number 2 is Bharatiya Janata Party is a sum effort of a lot of organization and people. We all know that Atal Bihari Vajpayee, L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, Sushma Swaraj, a lot of people put a lot of effort to make this organization what it is. In fact, the effort that L.K. Advani and Mr. Atal Bihari put behind Bharatiya Janata Party can never be forgotten. How much ever whoever tries, it can never be forgotten. But that being said, there was an organization called the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, which gave the basis, the foundation to Bharatiya Janata Party and is still the foundation of Bharatiya Janata Party. Now this foundation is becoming an impediment to a lot of people in the current Narendra Modi Party. Narendra Modi Bharatiya Janata Party. The foundation is not recognized by a lot of people in the Narendra Modi Bharatiya Janata Party. We have seen this in the last few years. A lot of people who are from the Sangh, a lot of people who represent RSS started taking backseat, started being sidelined from this political party. People like Devendra Fadnavis, people like Gadkari, people like Rajnath Singh, who were Sangh loyalists, started taking backseat, and people who were parachuted from different political parties, people like Hemanta Biswa Sarma, people like Jyotiraditya Scindia, people who came from outside, stark outsiders, started dominating this party, started having a say in this party because the party wanted power and more power, because the party wanted to be aggressive and more aggressive, because the party wanted to rule and rule with an iron fist. The original party ideologues, the original party members started slowly taking backseat, and a lot of others started coming in the forefront. At one point in time, the foundation, which is RSS, started wondering, is this the same party that we helped build? Is this the same party that we wanted while this party is trying to achieve a lot of things that has been part of our ideology? But is this the way we want the party to achieve it? A lot of people from RSS, a lot of core team members of RSS started questioning. Earlier on, there was a split in thinking. A lot of people said, "Theek hai, they are achieving it, no? So why are you stopping them?" A lot of young RSS leaders would ask. But slowly and steadily, RSS started realizing that the Bharatiya Janata Party that is currently metamorphosized, whatever it has metamorphosized into, is very different to what the Bharatiya Janata Party they had planned. Very different to the Bharatiya Janata Party that they thought of, that they dreamt of. Somewhere down the line, the party started becoming bigger than the ideology. A person started becoming bigger than the ideology. This is point 2. Let me come to point 3. Point 3 is the core of Rashtra Swayam Sevak Sangh, which has been translated to Bharatiya Janata Party, which therefore can be called as a DNA of both Sangh and the Bharatiya Janata Party, is the concept of nation first, Sangh next, or the organization next, and individual last. This is the core. This is the core. If you see any Sara Sangha Chalak or any senior leader of the Sangh, or to that extent, even any Bharatiya Janata Party leaders, they have followed this principle. Be it Atal Bihari Vajpayee, be it L.K. Advani, be it Murli Manohar Joshi, be it Sushma Swaraj, be it any leaders, they have followed this philosophy of nation first, Sangh next, and individual last. This concept of nation first and organization next and self last just got absolutely crushed. Here it was a individual first, individual next, and individual last. Rest everything followed. Rest everything followed. And how did that individual manage to make that brand so big? Using the sheer Sangh, using the power of this Sangh, using the power of RSS to grow. So the individual grew with the power of Sangh, and finally Sangh and its ideologies were nowhere in his list. The way he started taking the Bharatiya Janata Party was in a very different direction to that what the Sangh wanted. The Sangh felt like a springboard that was used for this individual to take the leap. There were problems between the Sangh and Bharatiya Janata Party. There were problems between the Sangh and the way Mr. Narendra Modi ran the Bharatiya Janata Party. There were problems. This problem was brewing. Your channel has spoken about this to you many a times. Today, the problem has become more evident. Now, I go to the speech that we started with. You see, the Sara Sangha Chalak, or the head of the Rashtra Swayam Sevak Sangh, Dr. Bhagwat, was speaking in a function with Karyakartas and his leaders, RSS leaders, and he made a few points very clear. He spoke about sevak, the first point. That you see, what I told you, individual does not matter. He said that a true sevak, that is one who serves the people, does not have ahankar, arrogance, and works without causing any hurt to others. He says that a sevak doesn't cause hurt to others. He doesn't hurt others. That is not a sevak. A sevak takes no pride saying that my sub, meri guarantee, I am the one. Vote for me, rest doesn't matter. It doesn't happen that way. A sevak is a person who serves people, who is not arrogant. In fact, he went on to say that one who maintains decorum, does his work, but remains unattached, there is no arrogance that I did this. Only such a person has the right to be called as sevak. He says that, listen, as far as Sangh is concerned, the moment you say me, I, your concept of being a sevak is gone. Because then you are the owner, then you are the ruler, then you are the master, I. Sevak is when you dedicate yourself to what you do, not when you have the arrogance of saying me. Now you wonder, you answer, write down in the comment box before what do you think he meant and who is he talking about. Please write down. Mind you, Bharatiya Janata Party election is over. Mind you, Bharatiya Janata Party is not in a comfortable position of 350 and 340 like a lot of people who sat in their drawing rooms and said. They are not in that position. They are in a very precarious position with 240 seats, which is much lesser than the majority. And that is when the foundation of Bharatiya Janata Party, that is RSS, the head of the foundation, talking this. He says, arrogance is when you start saying me, मेरी गारंटी, मैं अगली बार 400 पार, when I say me. That is what he says. He went on to say that the kind of things that were said, this he's talking about dealing with the opposition. He says the kind of things that we said, the way the two sides castigated each other during the elections, the way no one cared about social division being created because of what was being done, and for no reason the Sangh was dragged into this, untruth were spread with use of technology. Is this the way knowledge should be used? How will the country operate like this? He says, boss, what are you doing? What divisions are you creating? And you are dragging the Sangh in. Achha, by the way, who dragged the Sangh in? Was Congress talking about the Sangh, or would the Bharatiya Janata talk about the Sangh? So that itself makes what he wants to say very clear. He says, what division are you creating? And what level did you get the elections to? And you are dragging the Sangh. Why are you dragging the Sangh into this? And he says, you are using technology. I presume what he means by that is WhatsApp. He is talking about nothing but WhatsApp University. He is saying you are spreading fake news through WhatsApp University. Is this what you are doing? Is this how you are going to create the new India? Is this what India is? These were very direct questions he asked. Please keep on writing and let me know as to who do you think he was asking those questions to? Who does he expect an answer from? Is he expecting an answer from Mamata Banerjee and Rahul Gandhi, or is he expecting an answer from Narendra Modi? Tonight I ask this question because let's address the elephant in the room first and let us get directly to the point other than beating around the bush. Who is he asking these questions? Who are these questions addressed to? Point number 3. Point number 4, he says, the opposition, Dr. Bhagwat said, I do not call it Virodhi Paksha. I call it Pratipaksha. Pratipaksh Virodhi nahi hai, which means the opposition is not your opponent. They are opposition. They are not your opponent. It is revealing a side and that must be deliberated upon. If we understand that this is how we operate, then we must be cognizant of the decorum required in contesting election. The record decorum was not maintained. Who is he talking about? Who is he talking to? I ask you again and again because, like I said, let us not beat around the bush. These questions are directly asked to one person, and that is Mr. Narendra Modi. Dr. Bhagwat asks that opposition is not your opponent because a lot of opponents were in the jail. A lot of opponents were trying to survive. A lot of opponents were scared. Is this how you treat the opposition? Is this how democracy is run? I would infer the following from what he said. I could be wrong. I am inferring from what he said. What he said is an opposition was not treated like an opposition. An opposition was treated like an opponent. Because to an opposition, you address the opposition. You answer the opposition. You do not take the opposition and put behind bars. You put an opponent behind bars. You trouble an opponent. You punish an opponent. You don't punish an opposition. You debate an opposition. I think, to my understanding, this is what he meant by that. And if you thought it was anything else, like I always say, please write down in the comment box what you think. What Bhagwat said is stop punishing opponent, which means he says stop punishing dissent. Stop persecuting dissent. Stop putting people who think differently from you behind bars. Stop it. This is not an India that RSS sees. This is not an India that even RSS sees. This was not their definition of Hindu Rashtra. So this is what Bhagwat said. Let's go further. Because of it, there is a tendency to leave others behind, and it should be like that. He went on to say that one should not use untruth. People have been elected. They will sit in the parliament and run the country through consensus. Consensus is our tradition. Consensus is our tradition. Again, I ask you, who is he addressing this to? Because Rahul Gandhi doesn't need a consensus of Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi should be taking consensus of the opposition. Narendra Modi is the governing head. So the governing head should be taking consensus. The opposition doesn't need to take consensus, which is what he's saying. The country has to be run through consensus, not that you say something against the government and you are picked up and you are barred, or you are thrown out, or you are suspended, or CBI comes behind you, or ED comes behind you, or IT comes behind you. This is Dr. Mohan Bhagwat, the Rashtra Swayam Sevak Sangh Sara Sangha Chalak, saying clearly and loudly, stop using force. Stop threatening opposition. Stop threatening voice of dissent. This is a clear indication. This is a clear indication. And this is a clear indication of RSS saying, ये हमारा BJP नहीं है. This is not the BJP we wanted. This is a clear indication. The surge in violence in Manipur, very important factor. He says everywhere there is social disharmony. This is not good. For the past 1 year, Manipur has been awaiting peace. It was peaceful for the past 1 decade. It appeared that the gun culture of yore was gone. But the gun culture that took shape suddenly or was created, Manipur is still burning. Who is going to pay attention to it? It is the duty to deal with in priority. Who is he saying this to? He is saying this to the government in the center, that is Bharatiya Janata Party, and the government in the state, that is Bharatiya Janata Party. There is no other person he is talking about. Let us not try to mince words. There is no other person he is talking about. He is addressing Bharatiya Janata Party and saying that what are you doing? पिछले 1 साल से there is violence going on. You are not even talking about it. Forget about addressing it. You are not even talking about it. This has to stop. This is what the RSS chief tells Bharatiya Janata Party and the Prime Minister. This is what I meant. And in my headline, I said that I do not think that Dr. Mohan Bhagwat and the RSS is happy with the way Bharatiya Janata Party is functioning and going ahead. This is very, very clear. The last point I want to make is again on consensus that he spoke about, because that is something that he emphasized on. The IT, ED, CBI, etc. has not just got the opposition, it has also affected RSS. Not because it directly affected them, but even they started getting the feeling that this is not going to take our country to the direction that we intend our country to go to. This is not the India we dreamt of. This is not the Bharat that we dreamt of. This is nothing to do with the Ram Rajya that we were talking about. He went on to say that when society decides that we have to walk together despite of our differences, then a consensus is built. Parliament has two sides, so both sides can be heard. Every coin has two sides. If one side brings an idea, then the other side has to reveal the other perspective. We have to free ourselves of rhetorical excess of polls and think about the future. They said, boss, एक parliament में दो side होते हैं. Together, a decision is made. Bills cannot be passed, which is what I infer. What he said is bills cannot be passed in 1 minute and 3 minutes and 4 minutes. Just because the government has brute majority, used to have brute majority and can pass bills like this. This is what he said. I repeat myself. I do not agree to the concept of Rashtra Swayam Sevak Dal. I do not agree to most of the things that Rashtra Swayam Sevak Sangh does or believes in. I do not agree to the ideology of Rashtra Swayam Sevak Sangh. I do not agree to them. But a lot of things that Dr. Mohan Bhagwat said in this particular speech, I do agree. I do agree. And I don't think this was meant for anybody in this country except directly addressing the Prime Minister and Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party. This is what he was trying to address. Now, let me also tell you the feedback, the response that Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party had given to the feelers of Rashtra Swayam Sevak Sangh before the speech. And possibly the resultant to that is this speech. Like I say, cause and effect. The cause of the speech possibly could have been a statement that Mr. Nadda made. Mr. Nadda had said that शुरू में हम अक्षम होंगे, थोड़ा कम होंगे. आरएसएस की जरूरत पड़ी थी. आरएसएस की जरूरत पड़ी थी. आज हम बढ़ गए हैं, सक्षम हैं. तो बीजेपी अपने आप को चलाती है. He says, boss, the deal is very clear, Baba. Before, we needed RSS and all that. We needed them. अब यूज किया. अभी जरूरत नहीं है. Now we are quite confident to run ourselves. अभी RSS नहीं चाहिए. This is what he had said. And I guess this particular speech is the effect of that particular statement that the president of Bharatiya Janata Party had made. This is where it stands. And just before I leave, a few things that I wanted to tell you was somewhere down the line, Bharatiya Janata Party has moved away miles from their core ideology, their core thinking, and their core management strategy. They have moved miles away. There is no longer Hindutva. There is Moditva. It is whether you believe in Moditva or whether you don't. Because if it was Hindutva, then we wouldn't have had that Shankaracharyas who said that we won't attend Ram temple event, and which they didn't. Because this is going away from Hindutva. So this is what I would end with. The new Bharatiya Janata Party and the new Modi 3.0. Till I see you next time. That's tomorrow at 10 p.m. Namaskar.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.